not saying anything.
All right, good morning, everyone. Today's the Town Council regular meeting, Wednesday, October 4th, 2023, at 8 a.m., Town Hall Green Room. Can we all stand for the pledge?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This is so funny. That would you do for the card? I know, they're so far away.
Okay, item number 2, visitors. Are there any visitors that would like to be recognized? Any visitors that would like to be recognized all the way out there? No? Good.
We have two.
I feel so disconnected today.
Right field bleachers. Mary Beth, you want a mic so you can.
All right, item number 3, the approval of the minutes for the September 20th, 2023 meeting. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Thank you. Item number 4, appointments and reappointments. So establish the America 250 Committee. This was a discussion we had at the last meeting that Carl brought forth. Obviously, at a state level, they would like each municipality to put forth a committee for this celebration that's coming down the road. So at this point, are we looking to just establish the committee and maybe the number of people on the committee?
It would be a discussion on amongst yourselves of, A, do you want to create the committee, and then who would round that out?
Okay.
They gave some suggestions of how to do a cross-section of the community and
Right.
go from there.
Okay. Well, I think the last meeting, we all agreed we want to do this.
Yeah.
Good thing for us to do. So, I mean, at that point, it's just a matter of kind of how we're going to put this committee together, who we want to, grab from. Talk about it doesn't necessarily have to be council members, more so the public, which I think is a better idea, so that we're kind of removed from that, but we just, have the public involved. So, I guess looking forward to maybe coming up with how many people we want on this committee, where we want to draw from, how
Do
we're
you,
going to get
do
it
you
out
need
there.
a motion to create the committee and then the discussion of what the committee would be comprised of, or all as one?
Do we need a motion to approve the committee, or just?
I could draft a charge for you to look at a meeting to create the committee, and then you still have to make a decision of who all should be on it.
What is the cross-section they gave you?
I'm trying to take that out.
Snuck up on us.
They encourage every municipality to bring together a group of people from various perspectives: librarians, historians, economic development leaders, business owners, town clerks, commissioners on social justice, environmental and/or DEI commissions, to work together to create activities that resonate in your community.
So we're good with that?
Yeah.
Okay, then I guess we'll do that then. Move forward with the charge, and then we'll put the word out, and then see who we can get to sign themselves up for some fun.
Did it
Okay?
suggest a
Any
certain-
questions, comments?
Did it suggest a certain number of people?
No.
No.
Okay, all right.
So again, we could probably,
Yeah.
we probably should
Whoever says
indicate a
yes.
number in that. So I don't know how many people, maybe, I don't know, 5?
Seven.
Seven?
Seven.
Yeah,
If it's
seven
year-long,
tops.
it's
Make
gonna
sure
be
it's odd
big.
number, that's all.
I know Jane Welch said she
Seven
would like
tops.
to be involved.
Jane has asked to be involved
We're
in
not going to
that.
get into that right now. We'll just
I
get into the
understand.
charge, how many people, and then kind of put it out there to see who we can grab.
It's a big event,
It's a big lift. It's going to be a lot of work, obviously, so. it's not just-
minimum of 7.
Okay. Good. All right.
So that's it, we don't,
Well, Carl put together a charge for us, and then we can, at the next meeting, then kind of approve that, and then we move forward with the committee.
Gotcha.
Thank-
We're way ahead of the game, so it's not like we're under pressure to get this done next week. Item number 5, discussion on the building improvements to the library. Library came forth last meeting, obviously, told us what they were looking to do. So I guess we're just maybe doing an update on where we're at. I guess the council needs to, approve the funds allocated that they would need in order to do this study, I guess is where we're at.
Well, I had a conversation with Mary Beth yesterday about the scope and what the potential study would look like. So we would be issuing an RFP to find an architect to respond to a phase 1 piece, which is looking at the site and how the space might be configured to maximize the program anticipated by the library, that would give you the number to respond to, and then you would figure out cost sharing between the town and the library.
Okay,
Okay.
everybody good? So we're all comfortable with that? Putting the RFP out?
I am.
Good?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. So there you go. All right, item number 6, Morgan project graduation. Looking obviously to have a fundraiser at the town hall and would like to serve alcohol. So they would need an approval from the town council in order to do that. So we just look for a motion to grant them that.
So moved.
A second? Any further discussion? All in favor?
All right.
Opposed? Abstain? Okay. Item number 7, Chairman's Report. So I'm going to have a conversation about something that I hate talking about because it's election time. But obviously it needs to be addressed. It's brought to my attention that while people were out campaigning, that a homeowner was told by an individual or 2 individuals, didn't know who they were, weren't members of the council, but didn't know who the people were. But that were told specifically that the Pearson School project is done, it's completed. Also indicating what went into the building at each floor of the building. So 1, 2, 3. And indicated to that homeowner exactly what was going into the building. It the people that know what's going into the building are the 7 people that are sitting here, 9 people that are sitting here, because it was discussed in an executive session. I think I was clear during the executive session that this cannot be discussed, should not be talked about. Obviously, something has gotten out. Obviously, comments have been made. I'm not pointing any fingers. I'm just saying it needs to stop. Okay, we're not going to use Pearson as our, as our ploy in order to get elected or to impact an election. Okay, that's a disservice to this community. Once somebody hears it, then it goes around because it's already going around, because it's already going to other people, because somebody hears something and then they say it to somebody else. Okay? So I've been perfectly clear. I know Hank told me he was tired of hearing it about not talking about anything that we talk about in executive session. But, when you put it out there and now the public thinks that something is done, the public now thinks the decision has been made on Pearson. And it's not going to stop at one person. We all know how it goes. The rumor mill starts and it continues to go and go and go. So now I don't want people saying to me, coming up to me saying, oh, Pearson's done. Not done at all. Pearson's not done at all. No decision has been made. No final decision has been made on what we're doing with that building. We're at the infancy stages. We do know, and the only thing the public knows is that we put out an RFP, because that's public knowledge, because that's a public document, and anybody can read it and see what we're going to do. But when somebody starts telling people what's going into the building on all 3 levels of that building, that's disgusting, okay? Because nobody has the right to say any of that out there, because people, then they think that we're doing things and making decisions without having anybody else's input or not explaining it to them. So this process was discussed. This process, we've had 2 meetings. We'll continue to have meetings. When we decide who we're going to pick as that developer for that project, we will have a public forum. But until that time, please, just stop. It just, I don't want to hear it. I'm tired of listening to it, quite honestly, because the rumor mills start and then it looks badly upon us. The council knows how they're supposed to be, dealing with this. The council knows that this is, when we go into executive session, that is exactly what it's about. It's a discussion between 7 council members, the town manager, and Mary. And that's where it stays. It stays inside that. I don't want to go forth, because I'm not pointing fingers at anybody. I'm just making a statement because I don't want to hear any more about it.
Chris,
How-
may I make a comment?
Sure.
I don't see how anybody at this table, and I can tell you I've been knocking on doors, and I can also tell you I've been talking about Pearson. But I can also tell you that everything I talk about is based on what Carl recorded in his August video. And when I got in touch with Carl and said, what exactly can't we talk about? Because he talked about senior living on the 2nd and 3rd floor and a community space on
Okay,
the
so
ground floor.
again, that was discussed,
I'm
that was
sorry,
discussed in an executive session.
No, it's in public. It's on a
No, okay.
recording.
No, it's
Well,
not.
no, it's not.
I did not speak to Flores.
No, he did not speak to that.
Okay, the RFP does. And that is-
No, it does not. The RFP speaks to housing.
But that's what I just said, housing.
No, you also mentioned what was going in the bottom floor, which was not discussed in public, which was not put out into the public forum, which
The
was discussed in no,
The
it was
RFP
discussed.
It mentions a community space.
He's right here.
Doesn't it?
But whatever that mentions in that, but again, I mean,
No, no, Chris is right.
But
I
you
mean,
said it, an
can't be
RFP
talking
is
about
public.
Whatever we discussed, I'm not even gonna say it here because this is public forum, but we can't discuss about what we had talked about that goes in that basement. Because immediately, as soon as you start saying any little thing about what that is, they're gonna carry that and the people are gonna say, oh, great, we're gonna get this. We don't know that yet because we haven't made that decision yet.
No,
We're
but-
still just, we should, if anybody should say to you, like I say, folks, there's been no decisions, I can't say anything because we are under executive
No, I'm not
privilege right now.
talking about decisions.
You will know soon. That's the proper answer. You will know soon. Don't tell, I wouldn't even tell them like, you know, the color of the windows or nothing. You just say, you will know soon as we go into public announcements. And that's the best way to approach Pearson. I mean, you can't even give them a hint because Chris is right. People run with, you know that. People run in this town with rumors.
But
You
Dennis,
know, I mean, Tom and I are a little upset, quite frankly, about another rumor. You know, that we voted or we're against the beautification committee.
no, I heard that. That was misunderstood.
Oh, that was misunderstood?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
But let's get back to
Because, you
this.
know, see, these are the rumors that get back to us.
Dennis, can we
There's
finish the
nothing that
first one?
really- What people should understand in this town is, and I'm gonna try to be nice, it's only a town of 13,000 people. You know how quick rumors get started in the 13,000? This is a small little village. This isn't New York City. Chris says something in the morning, by the afternoon, it's out there, you know. Chris could, like, we're talking about soccer events and stuff, and he's talking about good, positive stuff. And, you know, that's nice. But it'll be out there. Say, hey, geez, we found out, you know, soccer team won tonight and stuff. This is a small town, Carrie.
Dennis,
We can't
please.
say nothing.
Please, I just want to get back to the first one
Okay.
and the RFP, which I read and which Carl talked about in the August video. That's all.
But did he mention the basement?
what he said in his statement was that the town was putting out an RFP for housing. That's what we're doing. When somebody comes and says they, quote unquote, what you just mentioned, okay, again, what was going in there, if that doesn't go in there, let's say, then what happens? Well, why didn't the council put that in there? That was never discussed. What is going in that bottom of the floor of that building was discussed in an executive session with 7 members and 2 other individuals. Okay? That's what was discussed in executive session. He did not put anything out as it relates to that because he knows he can't, because he knows that it was an executive session discussion. So he's not going to say that. His comment to the public was an RFP for housing, which is what we agreed to do, which is public knowledge, which is basically the RFP, which is a public document that anybody can read. When we start getting into the meat and bones of what's going into that building, then you're way out of bounds, way out of bounds.
Please understand that I had thought that it was in the RFP. I'll go back, because I read the RFP. And also, after listening and watching the video, I did get in touch with Carl to try to understand what was public information. And beyond that, I apologize.
I mean, putting a word out that there's a done deal is
No,
disturbing.
that is not.
Okay, I'm just telling you what was told to me. See, again, here we go. Here we
That
go.
is-
This is exactly, no.
What you say.
This is exactly what we were talking about. This is exactly it. This is exactly what he's talking about. Is that once something
Okay.
gets said to somebody,
Got it.
and it goes a number of different ways.
Got it.
Misconception, misunderstanding, all the other stuff.
I
I've
think-
said it multiple times, I just don't want it discussed. Because then if somebody finds out that somebody says to one person, what is going in that building, and if it does not go in the building, then they're going to come back to us and say, why didn't you do this?
Got it.
And they were not involved in that decision-making process. Okay, as a council member, you're an elected official, you should take that very seriously and understand that when we're asked to do certain things, then we need to follow that, we would need to follow that guideline. Because it puts everybody else in a bad position, because then that turns into everybody else gets, comment, well, nobody said that, nobody said this, then it turns into a nightmare. And it doesn't seem like we have a council that is working together. It seems like we have a council that is divided, and I don't want to do that. I've never done that from the beginning. I've been very open and honest with everybody that sits at this table, and everybody has a voice, everybody has an opinion, and I've never, taken anybody's voice away from them. And I wanted that from the beginning. And when things like this happen, I get extremely upset because it takes away that. It takes away the fact that they think that this council is not working together. So that's what's disturbing about it. So I've said it ad nauseum. I'm tired of listening to myself say it. I don't want to hear another word about Pearson. That should not be used as a platform to be elected or to get somebody into a certain seat. That's not what that's about. This is about the town, and it's about what's in the best interest of the town. That's it.
Unfortunately, this town is famous for a whisper down the lane.
And that's what I said. I just want it done.
I would make a suggestion that people have obviously approached me for this information, and what I tell them is it's under discussion, period. That's as far as you have to go.
Which is exactly what everybody knows anyways, because it's been put out in the public that we have an RFP. It's not a secret that there's an RFP out there.
We have to understand
Or
the
that it's housing.
responsibility of being a member of a committee that goes into executive session and what that means.
But we also, I think, have to better understand, I mean, housing it's out there.
Nobody's arguing that.
Okay.
I'm not arguing that's a public document. Anybody can read it. It's
Okay.
housing. That's the RFP. My concern is somebody telling somebody else that it's a done deal and exactly what's going into the basement of that building.
No, that
Okay,
didn't,
so
that didn't
that's
happen.
that's what's being said.
Okay.
That's what I'm trying to get through. I'm not pointing fingers and saying somebody said something. What I'm saying is that's the message that's out in the public eye. And now it's becoming an issue, because once one person hears it and they go to breakfast and they hear from another person, that message then gets distorted, and then it gets into something that I don't want it to be, because then again, it's the same thing. It's again like, why don't we know? Why didn't we have input? Why couldn't somebody tell us what was going into that building? And again, it's because that's not the process. We've had this process, we talk about process, that's what we talk about. We have to follow that process, nothing more, nothing less. So, going forward, please just remember, what you say to somebody can be misconstrued, what you say to somebody can be, taken in a different way, because what you say to them may not be what they hear. So, just be careful when we talk to other people about these things. We will now move on to item number 5, whatever that is, 8, Town Manager's Report.
Okay. You had my written report. Included in that was, town received notice that Connecticut Natural Gas will be seeking a rate increase through Cura. So those folks that are on natural gas likely will be facing increased rates, and that also includes the town, as we use natural gas. Steep grant, as I noticed you earlier, has been, we received the award. Right now, we have to wait for grant contracting to come through the Department of Emergency Management. While we wait for that to take place, we don't move on spending any money or moving the project forward. The potential ordinance amending the peddler's permit license process to prohibit peddling on holidays. I asked CCM to do a survey of towns. Nobody really has a limitation by day. There's limitations by hours. In consultation with the town attorney, she too affirms limitations by hours. They're usually associated with a public need, such as not peddling after sundown to discourage criminal behavior, things of that nature. There isn't a legal practice by which you articulate a public policy to say that there is no peddling on a specific holiday, so we would be charting somewhat new territory. There isn't a comparable out there, and Connecticut doesn't have case law speaking to limitations on peddling. It's further complicated by use of the public space versus use of private space. Public space is public and you can do different things in public space than you can do in private space. So long story short, there's continued back and forth with the town attorney to figure out what, if anything, we could do and what an ordinance would look like. I gave you an overview of what happened at the COG meeting that took place at the end of last month. More of the items of note is we're still waiting for DEP to make a decision on regional solid waste. There's also conversation that Mira's remaining assets should also be used to help pay for figuring out how the project towns spin off and develop their own response to managing solid waste if DEP isn't going to actually award the grant funds to help municipalities in regions like ours. On the facade program front, State Historic Preservation Office gave final clearance after repeated inquiries to have Granda Pizza move forward, so that project should be proceeding. The property owner has been informed he has the green light to go, and he should be moving forward with all deliberate speed. Other than that, I have a hiring issue to talk about later on in the meeting.
I just have one question. What do you mean by textiles under RiverCog recycling?
Oh, yeah, so there was a presentation by the Capital Region COG. They do a lot of cooperative bidding, so they issued a bid for a vendor who would collect textiles, and then they get recycled, so that could be clothing, it could be bedding, it could be stuffed animals, it could be shoes. So kind of what makes up the universe of textiles that could be recycled is pretty broad. It removes it from the waste stream, and then you have the means to go from there to, the vendor will take it back to Massachusetts and recycle it and do whatever they do with it from there.
Oh, okay.
So it's something to give some consideration to. I already spoke to Todd about where it could conceivably go and what the impact would be at the transfer station as to whether or not we would have a problem there or whether we could accommodate an additional dumpster to take on additional recycling. I did have one more item. We were approached by the Connecticut Cancer Foundation. They normally do a No Shave Connecticut fundraiser to support cancer patients and provide grants to the families going through financial stress while their children are battling cancer. Normally they do this with police departments. It seems as if our police department is tapped out and couldn't support this. One of the individuals that would be receiving a benefit this year is someone from Clinton. There's a young girl who's 15 who would be a recipient of any kind of potential funding. So the Cancer Foundation asked whether or not there was an interest generally in the town for a Team Clinton to help support any kind of fundraising. It doesn't have to be the no shave component, which is gender neutral. It could just be straight up donations. So just a question of whether or not the town council wanted to say, yes, we're okay with encouraging donations to support these kids and this girl in Clinton specifically.
I think we could support that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's not going to shave? Tom?
Barely do now.
Okay, anything for Carl?
On the RiverCog, the Economic Development District, the last sentence says the bylaws of the COG will be amended to create an Economic Development District Committee.
Yep.
How are they going to, where are they going to find the people to get on that committee?
Good question. So initially, it will start the way most of these do, where it will just be a committee of the COG, so the CEOs of the towns will continue to function as the board. While that gets started, you have to have one that exists on paper. And then, as things roll out, then you'd figure out who those appointees are. So it would be a little bit of an evolution, just to say that they've got it in order to make the application to the EDA, and then once they're awarded by the EDA, then you figure out the spinoffs. There's really nothing to do until you get federal recognition, because federal recognition has money. State recognition has a certificate, but there's no money.
So, that's what you said, the federal government recognizes and opens the door for potential future funding. And I was thinking the committee would be the one that'd be going after that money.
The committee would be directing activities at the regional level and trying to align potential projects with what the comprehensive economic development strategy is. Individual towns could make application on their own, but it should run through the EDD, giving their support on individual projects.
Thanks.
Anybody else? Okay, item number 9, council discussion. Anybody have anything to discuss this morning?
We did pretty well at the chairman's report side.
Anything else? Okay. Here, none, we'll move on to item number 10, which is town council committee liaison reports. Does anybody have anything to report this morning? Moving right along. Nice. No? Good?
Next week.
All right. Item number 11, need a motion to go in executive session to discuss personnel. Second?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Oh, and invite Mary and Carl. Any discussion? Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain?
Okay. Oh, no. Hank.
Hank's on it.
Hank's got it.
Okay, we're back from executive session. We'll move on to item number 12. We will look for a motion to ratify the appointment of the water pollution control clerk. A second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Thank you. Item number 13 is a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second? All in favor? Yes, you are.